On November 10th, one day before Remembrance Day, Toronto City Hall announced that they're gonna fly Palestine flag on November 17th. We're gonna watch this video from Bias CBC News, and after that I'm gonna tell you what issues I have with this decision.
Occupation is a crime.
The flag of Palestine is set to fly at City Hall for the first time in Toronto's history next week. City staff have approved a request from the International Centre of Justice for Palestinians following Canada's official recognition of statehood in September.
We need to remember that without the brave historical step by the Canadian government led by Mr. Carney, recognizing the Palestinian people's rights to self-determination and the Palestinian state is the reason why we're celebrating such a huge move, where a city like Toronto.
This Palestinian activist says the day should be celebrated as a moment of hopefulness.
It's a symbolic move to raise the flag, but I believe this will encourage other parties and institutions, individuals inside Canada to join the journey for human rights and equality and justice regarding the issue of Palestine.
In an email to CBC, a representative from Mayor Olivia Chow says the flag raising was approved by the city's protocol office, not City Council or the mayor herself. As per a 1999 council motion, the mayor and council do not have the authority to approve or deny flag raising requests. In another statement, a spokesperson for the city says the use of the city's courtesy flagpoles doesn't indicate support for the politics or policies of specific nations, but does recognize the citizens that made the request. Meanwhile, some say it's a move the city should have made sooner.
Toronto's policy actually says that it will fly the flag of any nation recognized by Canada. Canada has recognized the Palestinian nation for decades. Recognizes Palestinian passports. There's a Palestinian consulate in Canada. However, Toronto conflated the notion of nationhood and statehood.
Anticipating some pushback to the flag raising, he says the city's just being fair.
I don't think that it has anything to answer for here. It's simply applying its policy, in this instance, in a fair and equitable way, the same way that it applies it to any other country.
CBC Toronto reached out to multiple local Jewish organizations, but none were able to comment before a deadline. In 2024, there were more than 60 flag raisings at City Hall. More than 40 of those were national flags. Tyler Cheese, CBC News, Toronto.
Okay, let's talk about it. I'm gonna try not to use the argument like Canada first, right? Because it's not the only foreign flag that we're flying. Well, my first argument would be that we should allow the flags of other states to be on display only when the state representative of that state is visiting Toronto, whichever city, right? I feel like that's kind of a sign of respect. That's when I would agree that we're gonna show the flag. So all year long, obviously, Canadian flag, provincial flag, possibly all provincial flags. You can put the city flag, whatever, right? Something that's really connected to Canada. And then let's say we have a state representative of, I don't know, Poland on visit. Fly the Poland flag as a sign of respect, right? To make it something unique and not like we're gonna fly any flag that the citizens will request, right? And I'm pretty sure that there are some limits still. Obviously they're not gonna fly some flags that would be considered hateful nowadays, right? And that brings me to another point. The Palestine and recognizing Palestine as a state and flying the Palestine flag is, to me, it's very problematic because, as we know, Gaza is under control of Hamas, that was originally elected by Palestinians as an official government. We don't know how rigged the the elections were, but again, we're Canada, we're not Palestine, so we can't really decide that, right? And Hamas still has some influence in West Bank, and according to the last survey in Palestine, it has a huge support. And as we know, Hamas is obviously a terrorist organization, and that's why I have issue with flying Palestine flag, because in the previous protests, we saw that they used the Palestine flag while chanting pro-Hamas quotes and whatever, right? So it was Palestinian protest, pro-Palestine, and at the same time, someone abused it to make it pro-Hamas protest, which is terrorism. So right now we're going to fly the flag that's highly connected to terrorism. Like, after 9/11, did we fly the Afghan flag? I don't think so, right? The same Iraqi flag and all of that. Like, I have no issues once Palestine gets rid of terrorist organizations, and there's not going to be any connection. Obviously, you can recognize them as a state, you can fly their flag. And I understand that right now we're flying the flag for the Palestinians. Well, would we fly the Russian flag? Because look, Russians don't agree with the war, but unfortunately they have a President Putin in power, which is pretty much dictator, right? So they cannot do anything about it. It's not all the Russians that want to invade Ukraine. And the same thing with Palestinians. It's not all the Palestinians that are terrorists, but there is that connection, right? So if we fly the Palestinian flag, I think there shouldn't be any issue to fly the Russia's flag in solidarity with the Russian citizens who disagree with the war. And again, it's a communist country. They don't really have a choice. Like, they can't even protest without ending up in prison, possibly killed, or Siberia, right? Or something like that. Well, let's try to fly the Russian flag. Let's see how Ukraine's gonna react. They're not gonna be happy. The same way like Israel is not gonna be happy with Palestine. And don't get me wrong, I don't wanna compare Israel and Palestine, Israel and Ukraine, because I don't know, Israel-Palestine conflict has been going on for so long. I don't think there's a good state. Like, either one of them, one is bad, one is worse. So yeah, I don't think it's really comparable, like Israel and Ukraine, right? Obviously. But yeah, like it's very controversial what we're planning to do with that flag. Like, some people will take it as we support Hamas. Because yes, the state of Palestine right now is literally interlocked with Hamas. So I really don't think it's a good move, and I understand why. I know all of you are against Trump. You don't like US right now. You don't like Trump. But I understand why he's against it. Because, yes, it can be taken as promoting terrorism. And again, I'm not on the side of Israel. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I'm not on the side of Palestine either. So I think that Palestine needs to clean up, cut all the ties with terrorism, and then we can talk, right? And it's interesting to see some Palestine activists talking here, and it's like, well, go home and clean your country. I don't know what to tell you about that. Like, again, I don't think all the Palestinians are terrorists, but their state is so... A lot of people over there support terrorism. So that's why I think it's not a good idea to fly that flag.